loads. That's what it is, yeah. It's, apart from obviously Scotch whisky in it. It's got honey, it's got lemon, it's cream, and it is astonishing. And if I had some right now, I would sound like an opera singer.
Conversation on the global game. This is World Football on the BBC World Service.
And this is Mary Gazzi. Welcome to the programme. Pat Nevin and Heather O'Reilly are here. Both of them slightly under the weather. As you'll hear from Pat Brock from the answer to this question, Pat, Northern Europe was struggling with a storm for a couple of days. The Premier League match was even postponed. So, what are your worst conditions, worst weather conditions in which you play football?
First of all, I've got a quite dodgy throat, as you can probably hear. And that was from the other game, which actually was played. It was Sheffield United. I went to that game. And because they were going to cancel it for about 4.5 hours, including World Service.
Oh, gosh, I'm really feeling for those listeners.
No,
4.5 hours. Wow.
Well, they actually shouted up the announcements and things like that, so it kind of wrecked my voice on stuff like that, a cold start. Last conditions, Manny, I remember playing a game against Watford Chelsea, and the last day of the season, so we could not call the game off whatever happened. But it was a downpour, and it was one of those days where the water laid on top of the pitch, so you couldn't kick it along the ground, so you had to flick it up and volley it. And it was madness. It was like water polo we were playing. And that was only the second one. The very worst ever was played for end of my career against Arbroath. Now, if anyone knows what that is, few people do. It was right in the North Sea, and our goalkeeper took a goal kick, and it went over the bar. His own crossbar.
Right. It flew back.
It flew back and over his own crossbar. We abandoned the game then.
Heather, plenty of hurricanes where you've been at the moment. Ever played in a hurricane?
Close to it. I'd say the absolute worst was actually in China at the Beijing Olympics. We had a 2.5 hour delay in the dressing room. That was pretty much at like the 55th minute or so. So we went out for the second half, played a few minutes, came back in for 2.5 hours, and it was a really intense match against Canada. So not an easy one to recover from, and then the field was just an absolute disaster after that. So that was maybe the worst, but I do think it's important to point out that although, one Premier League match was canceled this weekend, a lot of women's games were canceled and lower leagues, and it is really difficult to get these fixtures in, and not all the pitches in England have the heating system and the grounds crew of 25 guys to take care of the pitches.
It's usually drainage, it's the big thing. Absolutely. That's the problem, especially Scotland, going to be big lots of rain. Manny, we're talking about rain, etc., snow. You were in Oslo, weren't you? What were you doing there, and what was the weather like?
Yeah, my flight did it rocking and rolling on the way there, I can tell you. I was in Oslo to pick up. I was a courier. I was there to pick up the BBC Women's Footballer of the Year trophy. And while I was there, I brought a couple of other things with me. I've got an interview with the father of Ada Hegerberg, which we'll hear later. And I also met up with Norway coach Lars Lagerbäck. Norway faced Serbia in the pit of the Euro 2020 playoff semi-final next month. If they qualify, it'll be their first major tournament for 22 years. And they should feel confident because nobody has coached at more Euros than Lagerbäck. And of course, they have the phenomenal striker Erling Haaland, who's taken European football by storm, his own storm this season. Lagerbäck is from Sweden, was coach of Iceland as they reached the quarterfinals of Euro 2016 memorably. After that, he said he was going to retire. Yet, here he still is at the age of 71.
I thought I was going to retire already after Nigeria, and then Iceland came, and that was really challenging, and I don't regret the second of it, of course, but especially since we beat England when you come from the BBC. And then Norway came, and I knew a lot of people here really well, and they really wanted me to come, so I said yes. Maybe I'm a little bit crazy, I don't know, when you reach my age.
So you originally planned to retire 10 years ago, but still here you are.
Yeah.
I asked Svenja Eriksson about carrying on in football and going from country to country and club to club, and he said he had to do it because there was nothing else. You couldn't imagine not doing it. Is that how you feel?
No, definitely not. That has been the difficult part since I tried to start to retire, because I was brought up in a forest farm in Sweden, and I still own it after my parents passed away. So I see a lot of other things to do. And it's other things in life I would like to have more time for too. So I wouldn't have any problem to retire. But at the same time, I mean, I'm privileged at my age to have these possibilities, and the kick you get out from being together with young footballers, and you can pick the best footballer when you're working with a national team. So I'm very privileged to have two choices, so to speak.
Erling Haaland, this season has taken Europe by storm, firstly in the Champions League and now in Germany for Borussia Dortmund, his new club. Can you believe how good he is, Erling Haaland, and how quickly he's become this good?
No, what I experienced with him, and also with Martin, who was even younger when he came into the national team, that's absolutely unique. And especially with Erling, the way he started his career abroad, first in Austria and now in Germany. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, I try to compare him with the youngest player I had in the national team through the years, Fredrik Ljungberg, who played in Sweden and went to Arsenal when he was young. But he was a couple of years older than Erling when he went to Arsenal, and he took at least half a year, I think, before he established himself in Arsenal. So this, I can't remember anything. I mean, maybe you can go back to Ronaldo and United and things, but I don't think he had this breakthrough as he has had on the highest level in European football. So, I mean, Erling and as I mentioned before, Martin Ødegaard, they are two extremes, in my opinion, whatever I've seen in international football for all the time I've been into it.
He's raw, and he, in the nicest possible sense, he seems wild. He just doesn't care. He smashes through any barrier. Do you think that as he grows older and he is coached and maybe loses his rawness, he will lose his effectiveness as well?
Yeah, this is a good question, but I don't think, as I got to know him the first two times he was with the national team here, he was very keen to listen, he was very keen to adapt to the way we are playing with our strikers and things like that. So I think he has a very open mind for you can play football in different ways and things like that. But at the same time, I think you have a point, because I have experienced players before that have a very, very big talent, and if you try to coach them too much and put them into a special role, you can limit their qualities a little bit. So my experience, the better players you have, the more freedom they should have. That's a thing that you have to combine with what I like to have, a really well-organized team. But I don't think it's a risk with him, because he loves his football, he wants to train, he wants to play. So I think he sees possibilities, even if you get a coach that can control him, or whatever you call it, a little bit more.
Iceland, the amazing story of 2016 that went around the world. The fans in the stands, the thunderclap, the players on the pitch. How do you look back on Euro 2016?
Yeah, as I said, I experienced so much. I've been so privileged in football, but of course that was a really, really special journey to these 4.5 years I spent in Iceland. And both as a country, it's a fantastic country. I can recommend everyone in listening to BBC to visit Iceland. But also, of course, from the football part. I mean, it was a rather young team I took over with a lot of promising players. And they really wanted to work hard, as all people in Iceland do, I think. And the mental strength and the attitude from the players was absolutely top class. We did a lot of repetition. I don't think if you ask Gylfi or whoever you know in England how the practice was, I think they were rather bored sometimes. But we really worked hard to organize the team, use their mental and physical strength, and so I think we became one of the absolutely best organized team I ever had anyway, and I think it was top class also in comparing with other national teams.
You're the coach who's been to more European championships than any other. How do you feel about this one? Do you smell another Euros?
First of all, I feel very privileged. If I look back to what I have experienced with different national teams, I'm really a lucky guy. every finals I went to, World Cup or European Championships, it's always something extra. I mean, I've never been close to a club who went to a Champions League final, but that's one game. This is a tournament, so it's really something special to experience.
Well, Lars Lagerbäck, thank you for your time and all the best with Serbia and maybe beyond.
Thank you very much. We really need it.
Pat, Lagerbäck doesn't have the profile of Guardiola or Mourinho, but he's been to 4 Euros as a coach and 3 World Cups as a coach, so he knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
Yeah, he absolutely did. Did he mention they beat England 2-1?
Yeah, I think he did. He did, right at the start.
If you look at history, it's fantastic. You know, going back to, I remember 2002, World Cup over in Japan and Korea. They were a really tough group. Argentina, England again, and Nigeria, and they won that group. And again, they got a draw with England in that one. He had players like Lundberg and Larsson back then, but every single team, he seems to organise teams. He says that sometimes coaching is a bit boring, but he is the safe pair of hands. And if you are that and you are trustworthy, you'll always be wanted. I mean, it's fantastic what he's done, obviously, with Norway, which is a slight concern. I'm sure you have noticed that if they win and Scotland manage to beat Israel, which is no foregone conclusion, then Scotland will meet Norway. And exactly. It's in Norway. You know, and the last time that Norway lost in Norway, I think it was just after the last Ice Age. So they don't lose many games there.
It's 1 year unbeaten at home.
Why is that, you think? Just
they're a decent team.
They're a very good team.
They're a good team, and they're well organised, and it's going to be a tough one. But I'm really impressed with him, and I think he's just highly respected all the way through the game, and he walks into dressing rooms and feels comfortable around him. I mean, he is a top manager. But
and
you're right, he doesn't
up
get
front, Erling Haaland, good luck defending against him. I mean, what a player to just pop up suddenly.
Oh, so wow. You know, we're all talking about, you know, who's going to replace Ronaldo or Messi. Or, you know, I'm not saying right now that he is going to. But if he does, I won't be surprised. You know what? I've seen him doing it already. You were saying there it was a bit raw. You're right. He kind of runs in that way. But you know those little phrases like, he knows where the goal is? Yeah, just a bit. 8 shots he had and scored 7 goals. I mean, his numbers, when you can go anywhere in his numbers, and they are all astonishing. I particularly like the current one. Is it 7 goals in 4 games? It's club, and you think, wow, I think Borussia Dortmund have done a brilliant piece of business. Only 20 million euros. Possibly the only time I've said that phrase with the word only in front of it. He is astonishing for his age. He's got pace, he's got power. He calms down when he gets in front of the goal. Top striker. Takes him years to get that. His awareness is absolutely stunning. He does not lack in confidence. The sky's the limit. Honestly, I'm so excited about this, but he could be phenomenal. In fact, he already is.
Hello, you broke into the national team when you were a teenager, younger than Haaland even. Where do you stand on this issue of coaching rawness, coaching the essence out of players as they grow up?
Oh, it's awful. I think that, you know, my only fear with a player like this is that he loses his green. Like, what I mean by green is I mean his pureness, his organic instincts. And I just think psychologically, in my opinion, and others might disagree, others that think experience is a good thing and with age comes wisdom. I think with age comes fear. I think with age comes staleness. I think with age comes expectations. And I think that when you're younger, you know, the sky's the limit. You don't really have these trepidations, I suppose, and you don't have these pressures. You're not looked at as a leader on your team yet to, you know, carry the load every game. And so I really, really hope that he doesn't lose that. He doesn't lose his drive. He doesn't lose. And I think that, you know, hopefully he has the managers around him that have seen this time and time again. You know, young players sort of lose that. So hopefully they have some mechanisms in place, whether or not it means less coaching for him. Sometimes less is more. A bit of a hands-off approach, laissez-faire with players, but also to kind of have your arm around them at all times. I'm not sure where his psychology lies. It definitely looks like he just needs to run free, and less is more for him. So we'll see how far that takes him.
Now let's go to Spain, where the coach of Real Sociedad's women's team has raised concerns about Barcelona's dominance this season. Sociedad was thrashed 10-1 by Barca in the Spanish Super Cup, prompting Gonzalo Arconada to say the federation must decide if this is what it wants. Barca were always going to win the game, and we had to suffer this humiliation. Barcelona are top, having won 16 of their 18 games, losing none, scoring 68 and conceding just 6. Victories have included a 9-0, a couple of 6-1s, and a 6-0. Heather, does this concern you in terms of women's football, which, you know, is still trying to gain traction? If one team is dominating the league to the extent that Barcelona are, is that a concern?
Well, it certainly doesn't make every single weekend a thriller, does it? But at the same time, I mean, I definitely lean towards bringing the others up with you. I mean, we've seen it with Lyon for many years. You know, huge results in the French league, and eventually a couple of their clubs are getting closer and closer. I don't know what the manager was referring to in terms of what does the federation want. I mean, you know, I take from that he wants to restrict Barcelona and put like a cap on them and a cap on their success. And I'm certainly not in favor of that. What I hope he's saying is that, you know, the federation will be pouring a lot more resources and, you know, maybe coaching classes or player support for all the other clubs. But I certainly hope that he does not mean to stifle Barcelona's development.
The other thing to remember, okay, they've got more money than everyone else, but as long as it filters down, it filters back and filters across, it can be helpful. I've watched it in Scotland time and again. Celtic and Rangers, yeah, they make lots and lots of money and everyone else complains. But my team, Hibernian, oh, look at Celtic's captain, he's cost £4.5 million 30 years ago from Hibernian. We made the money, we got the money, we were able to reinvest. And that's the bit that people don't look at. It generates investment and generates excitement. There are negatives. I'll tell you what, a lot of positives as well, just as Heather said.
Just for fun, here are some stats about awesomeness in club football in the men's game. Skonto Riga and they're from Latvia, and Lincoln from Gibraltar hold the record of consecutive men's titles with 14. The world record is held by Vanuatu's Tafia, who won their league 15 years in a row. Heather, want to guess which club has that record in women's football in Europe? Who's won the most league titles?
Mm-hmm.
You won't get it. You won't get it.
Oh,
No,
okay. Well, I was going to say Leon.
No.
Maybe like, I don't know, Glasgow?
No.
That's a good call.
It is a good call. They are in the I think the top 3 of the list, but top of the list, and who would have thought this, is Key Klasvik from the Faroe Islands.
Oh, I was going to say that.
and they've won their league 17 times.
Should we ask how many other teams are in the league, money? Or did you not dig that?
I didn't dig that. I was only interested in the superficial number, and that is what I've given you. You're listening to World Football on the BBC World Service. Pat Nevins here, Heather O'Reilly here, and Mary Jasny. And as you now know, I was in Oslo this week to collect the BBC Women's Footballer of the Year trophy from the father of last year's winner, Ada Hegerberg. Stein Erik Hegerberg is a very interesting man who is very difficult to please, as I discovered. He told me about the extremely hands-on roles that he and his wife have played in the development of their daughters, Ada and Andrina. In fact, they're still coaching them, even though Ada plays for French club Lyon, and Andrina is all Roma.
Both my wife and I have played football, have been trainers in football, and when we saw that there was some talent, we just thought that we had to add our competence to the world. We have many rules when we train, so when we train together, as we still do, every time we have to be ready for the training session. It's not about how often, how much to train, it's about with what quality do you train. So we follow always our plan when we train, and we also discuss and analyze when we have finished. So I think the different thing is that we that we do everything with 100% quality. If not, we don't do it.
And is it right that you refused to give them lifts to